Hi, and thanks for tuning in to our live radio show. Moments of Clarity with Tiffany will begin in just a few moments. Please stay tuned. Kindly take this opportunity to share this show on your platforms because change can only come when we stand together as one, especially when it comes to ending the stigma on mental health.
You are not alone, and help is out there.
Kids have mental health issues, and we also need to learn coping skills.
Let's get started and let the show begin. See you soon.
Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moments of Clarity.
Lively chat.
My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're going to be talking about something that we all cope with, deal with, and
Living the good one.
WTAN is the home of the Bitcoin radio show.
Just seeing if Tan Talk Radio, our main platform, is ready. But anxiety, when we rush, we build anxiety. It's because of lack of time management, and things like that, that we don't give ourselves enough time. And my guest today is a very good friend, like a brother to me.
Coin radio show, Saturdays from 8 to 9 a.m.
Are you a writer, inventor? Do you have questions about your intellectual property rights? Well, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday morning.
Just never know when I was going to start the show. But anyway, hi, everyone. Thanks so much. Let us know that you're here and that you are with us today. Hi, Leslie. It's great to see you.
Radio@gmail.com, and then listen in every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. right here on Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network. That's patsy.radio@gmail.com.
Hi, this is Paul Malloy, host of Freedom Works, The Paul Malloy Show. I hope you'll join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, here on the Tantalk Radio Network, where we strive to bring you the libertarian perspective on political events of the day. There's no show quite like Freedom Works, with in-depth interviews, our ultimate top 10 list, and so much more. So join us for Freedom Works, The Paul Malloy Show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. here on the Tantalk Radio Network.
This is the Tantalk Radio Network.
Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hello, and welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. Today, we're going to be talking about something that we all face from time to time, and that's anxiety. And especially things that come with anxiety as we have time management issues and things that we brush under the rug, or we put too much on our plate because we're not being mindful. We're being mindful of the should-haves, would-haves, done, whatever. We'll get all into that today. And I'm going to formally introduce my guest, but first I want to say hi to Ed at Tantalk Radio.
And happy Friday to everybody.
Happy Friday, Ed. How are you?
Good.
You miss me in the studio?
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know. The pollen, and I don't know. I'll be back. Okay. I'll be back. That's not a threat.
That's a good topic for another show.
Yeah, right?
Where's your coffee mug? If you ever want to stun Ed, he's like, no, the Moments of Clarity one. He's like,
at least I'm recycling too.
It's funny. That's just kind of an inside joke if I ever just want to stun Ed. Hey, where's that mug I gave you for Christmas?
It's here. It's right around the corner.
Ed, you know our guest here very well.
Yes.
Co-host Beyond Clarity.
Good to see you.
And for
very organized, I might say. Look at that wall behind him. It's so organized.
Yeah, isn't it pretty?
Yeah, everything's level.
I know, it's shocking, isn't it? So
Ed knows you very well.
And I'm covering up the clock. So I know it's 5 minutes ahead.
I know some things are a little bit crooked, and we can't see the clock this time. But the clock's off a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a few minutes ahead.
Yeah.
Perfect for our topic, too.
Actually,
sorry, that's
correct twice a day.
If I go to somebody's house,
it's actually the right time.
If I go to somebody's house and their clock on their stove is blinking 12, I'll change it.
Yeah, it drives me crazy if it's like that.
Yeah. So come over to my house and fix my clocks.
Is that what yours is like?
No.
Especially on this topic. Talk about causing anxiety for me. That blinking light definitely does it.
Totally.
So, I get that, Ed. 100%.
So we're going to be talking about anxiety. And so my guest here, Kirk Patrick Miller, and don't go anywhere, Ed, for a second. He's an author, a violinist. He teaches violin to special needs kids, speaker and wellness coach. He's written a few and more coming, award-winning and nominated books. One of them was his award-nominated and winning memoir called Chaos to Cured, talking about bipolar and how he's in remission and has basically found a cure for himself. Anyway, so and he does family coaching. He does a lot of writing and as well as hosting radio, and he's got a podcast of his own and so much, and we'll get more into that. But welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, Kirk Patrick Miller.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to be here. Seeing you and Ed always make my day. So it's I love this topic. Anxiety has just exploded, and we're seeing it hit kind of not only just an all-time high, but it's getting more intense, and especially not just in the adult population, but especially in the little ones. And post-COVID, as lockdowns changed so much of just how we socialize, it's a big issue. And it's something I think really that's valuable to talk about and make people feel more comfortable. It's, just talking about this stuff, as you always say, the stigma on some of these mental health issues is so strong. So it's so nice to just be able to talk about it, Eric, and get into what the topic is about, so people don't feel alone as they're suffering with it.
Right. I couldn't agree more. And anxiety is a learned behavior. We all have an innate level of anxiety where if we feel rushed or overwhelmed or whatever, there's a lot of things that we're going to get into that we can develop anxiety and then brush it under the rug and not develop positive coping skills. And as we don't cope with those things, then they become worse, like phobias, obsessions, fear of abandonment, fear of the unknown, fear of intimacy, fear of commitment, fear of
waking up
success,
about everything,
fear of failure, fear of being on Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. Just a lot of just irrational fears that anxiety, if not treated, and if not actually, the key is awareness, to know that we are suffering with some sort of anxiety and why, and let's figure out how to change these things. Because a lot of things, if we wrote them down, that we're dealing with and coping with, facing, there's a lot of things that we can change. We just have to be aware and face them up front.
Absolutely. It's perfectly said. I know for one of the title of your show was perfect, because there's a big piece when we do diagnostics or we go see a psychologist or psychiatrist to help us figure out what we're struggling with. There's a big piece that I see missing. And you can ask any psychologist or psychiatrist. It's not typically one of the questions is, how do you perceive time? And the reason that's so important is a lot of time, well, almost always, anxiety is built on a pressure system. And almost all of that can be boiled down to just one variable, which is how we analyze and perceive time. So people with higher anxiety levels kind of process a little faster. Now, there's some hypotheses. A lot of this hasn't been studied, but it needs to be, because every single time I'm working with a child who's, let's say I'm doing educational consulting and the child is struggling in school with tests, almost 100% of the time, it's based on just absolute fear, as you mentioned, from failure. There may be a perfectionist, maybe they're on the spectrum, maybe have ADHD. They are, again, trying their very hardest, but that time test just changes everything. If you sat there and said, can you solve all of these questions? And you have 3 days to do it and use all the resources you need, just do the work yourself, they wouldn't feel stressed. What happens is they're given 30 minutes or 45 or whatever the test might be. And that sense of time really comes down hard. It's the same thing as people trying to get to work. If you're worried about traffic, if you wake up and you're constantly worried, it's always back to time, right?
I could give myself 40 minutes extra to get to work, and something will always stop me. Phone call, something else. The alarm, forgot to turn off the security in my house, and oops, have to answer the phone, or walking out, my dog gives me these puppy eyes. Oh man, I forgot to let the dog out. Or, I don't know.
Well, there's a comment here that somebody just said their professor took time off. I know that right now, and she said, so she had extra time on her homework or tests. A lot of the professors and teachers are noticing this. And it is becoming a little more popular for teachers to give a little more leniency when it comes to time. The issue comes to when you go to work, when you have a relationship, when you, honestly, if someone is struggling with anxiety, and it has really, really helped me to pay attention to how you're talking and thinking about time, because I'm always like, oh, I have an appointment at 3. I only have this much time. So I would restrict, and I would honestly put pressure on that time frame instead of saying I have like 4 hours until 3 o'clock. So a lot of it, of course, is retraining through positive reframing, cognitive behavioral therapy, and that's why you want to seek out professional help to get some tools. But you'd mentioned mindfulness, and there are studies specifically about mindfulness being able to help slow down our perception of time, which makes a lot of sense on why it might help with anxiety.
Not only slow down time, but manage it even.
Yes.
That, like, the putting in a list of our priorities and focusing on one thing at a time, mindfulness, being in the present, changing what we can today at this moment, and taking one thing at a time, and not overloading our mind with all of the things that we might down the road, a week, tomorrow, a year from now. What about retirement? I don't. Things can happen.
Absolutely.
One thing at a time. Financial issues are a big thing. However, as you mentioned before, with ADHD, that's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And a lot of you guys know that as ADD, but where some people don't have the hyperactivity part, but the DSM-5, the Diagnostic Manual for Mental Health, has just classified it as ADHD, and then subtitles: predominantly hyperactive, or predominantly inattentiveness, or combined type. So people like me with the combined type, who try to give myself extra time to get to whatever I'm doing. It's kind of like, squirrel. Wait, what was I doing? I'll pick up the phone. I can pick up the phone to, for instance, hypothetically, just message Kirk, and I will see something that someone had messaged me, and I forgot what I had picked up the phone to do in the first place. That's why I'm so scared to get on social media, which is why I've delayed with
responses
because I would log into Facebook, and I will make a point to. I promise, Judy. And for the listeners on the radio, Judy was messaging from Facebook, and we've been trying to get a hold of each other. So unfortunately, things like that happen where even if I mean to, that's just one example.
That's a great example. The refrigerator always
gets me. That's not an excuse, Judy. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but it's fact. It's just what happens. And excuse me, I think sometimes, and I think Judy understands, but other people don't quite understand that there's a lot to get to sometimes.
Oh, well, and
when we can't, we start to breathe faster. Our heart starts pounding. We start to make sloppy mistakes. We forget things when we're walking out the door because whatever, people driving away with a coffee cup on their roof, oops, things like that because we're rushing. And a lot of times with ADHD, anxiety and ADHD go hand in hand because when we're constantly feeling like we're messing up, it makes us more anxious because we're forgetting stuff.
Well, and then we feel behind. So it's a constant feeling of, I messed up. I need to be here. And then the mind jumps all over the place. I know for me, for ADHD, like you mentioned, social media, if I open up, I'm gone for like an hour. I just lose an hour instantly. If I step in front of the refrigerator, same thing. If I have a lot of things to do.
Back up. Wait.
Yeah.
If you lose an hour if you step in front of the refrigerator?
Oh my goodness. I'll open it up and I'll stare in. Nothing has changed. I'll close it. I'll open it again. Nothing has changed. I don't know how I get lost like that. And it's so frustrating because when I was in school, teachers would see that as being inattentive or not paying attention or being disrespectful. I was trying to stay focused on the class and the people and the teacher in the lecture, but every sound would pull my attention. And so I was never able to really focus, which was extremely frustrating. And
you do know if you stare at the fridge, I mean, you could try to find something else that you're not looking for, but
not going to change.
They're not going to like just metastasize. I'm not saying that word right for some reason.
Manifest.
Yep. They're not going to just. I would really like some spinach and artichoke dip.
Oh wow!
I'm just going to stay. I'm going to stare at this empty shelf.
Well,
if I stare long enough, maybe no. Just kidding. Basically, you're just wasting like the coldness of the fridge. But that's pretty funny. I think a lot of people do that. You sit down there because you don't know what you want or can't decide, or I don't know.
Yeah, somebody just said they were often find themselves in a room just wondering what they're going to do. That is something that happens quite often. And
yeah, I do that in the fridge too. It's so frustrating. Thank you for watching from YouTube. If you are watching or listening on any other platform, we're pretty much everywhere, but live on the radio, of course, and then YouTube live at Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, at Twitter live at MOC with Tiffany, LinkedIn live. Just look up Tiffany Werner, WERHNER, and Facebook live. It'll lead you to one of those. And so, see, basically, okay, so virtually Ed does the private chat and he just reminds us there's a break.
He's awesome.
Yeah. So we have to finish our thought and go to break, but it's a little bit anxiety driven because we weren't we're not ready for a break.
Well, it was perfect because you brought up ADHD, and that's the key part of this idea of time. It's interconnected in all of the mental health. I don't want to call them disorders. I'll never use that word, but differences. So if you have, say, schizophrenia, bipolar, OCD, PTSD, ADHD, they all encompass anxiety and time.
And we're going to talk about how, because I've read your blog. And I know that's coming up.
There we go.
Albert, he said, I often find myself in a room wondering what I was going to do. I think that comes with a lot of things. Distraction, age. I've often looked for my sunglasses forever. I don't know. I'm like, I might as well just go without them. And of course, they're on top of my head. Things like that. And of course, LP, let us know. It's break time. It's an inside joke. He likes to host the show. So let's listen to that. Call in with questions or feedback. This is open discussion. 866-826-1340. Go ahead, Kirk. Tell them.
866-826-1340. So calling.
866-826-1340.
We got to come up with a jingle there.
Yeah. Don't get me started. I just sidetracked with this commercial. That's so annoying. Anyway, but it works. We'll be back with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany in just a moment, and please stay tuned.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Lucy Lopes, and I'm a real estate agent that supports ending the stigma on mental health with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I am also passionate about helping you buy or sell your home. With times being so difficult, I'm here to help. Contact me at lucylopes.com. That's LUCYLOPES.com. Let me assist you through this pandemic and know that you are not alone.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at at Tiffany Warner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
Are you looking for a great book? If you like to root for the underdog, Joe Potosi's book is a book for you. A real American Odyssey that will grab your attention with its fast-moving narrative. You won't be able to put this masterpiece down. When the Dust Settled by Joe Potosi. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Zulin Press.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Warner.
Hello and welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and I'm your host. And today, my guest, an award-winning author. His blog is so long. I mean, his bio is so long. Award-winning author, podcast host, previous co-host of Beyond Clarity with me, novelist, and memoir award-winning, and always one of the people's choice favorites to have on Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. Everyone's always like, "Oh, it's Kirk."
It's always good to be here.
There's a few of you guys that are repeats on purpose. Anyway, so the cliffhanger we left off is based on, also it's off your blog, and let's post the blog. It's since you gave me the shorter version of that, but time, anxiety, and critical flicker fusion frequency. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that without tongue tied. Navigating a fast-paced world by chaos to cured. And where can people find your blog while we're at that?
chaos2cured.com. And
not number two.
Number two.
Chaos2cured.com.
And then also on same thing for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I usually upload them there. That one was supposed to kind of match the podcast that I did. And for people that are wondering what critical flicker fusion frequency is, it's how many
times in a row.
Yeah, it's CFFF. I can't do it. It's too many. So they abbreviate it.
I was just kidding.
It's being able to see, how many images you see per second. So a fly sees around 250 per second, and a sea turtle sees around 30. So their CFF is around 30 frames per second. Our TVs, high-end ones, at around 120 frames. So you can imagine, as if you're a fly and you're flying in front of the TV, it would be on half the time and would be off. So the reason that this is kind of an interesting thing is we can measure it. They use it for a lot of different things that are pretty fascinating. It has been brought up in some journals for a potential connection between mental health issues. For me, I really think it's at least a measurable thing for us to kind of view time and how much it affects us. And the reason that it's such an interesting item, again, is because it's measurable. So there is some scientific data that's gone over it. For me, there's not any data on how we can slow it down. Our world is constantly bombarding us. So it's interesting, just actually for perception of time, they've done a study showing that the level of light you have in your room changes your perception of time. So low light actually makes us feel like there's longer amount of time. So if you think of fine dining, it makes sense. If you have really bright lights, like an office building, it makes the time go by faster, which makes a lot of sense for why we feel pressured, why we love to sit in front of like a fire. There's so many different environmental factors that add to our anxiety, but we still have to be able to control ourselves.
Well,
what was that?
The bright lights in the workplace, they're stimulating. That can lead to headaches and migraines and stuff as well by a negative effect.
So it affects us physiologically. So of course it's going to, our mind and body are so connected. I have, this is something a little new. And again, there's no data on how we can really kind of control our perception of time. Meditation and mindfulness have been shown to help people with their perception of time and mental health. I think there's a connection there. The best.
There's some of us that can't meditate though.
Well, and that's actually one thing that I've done and again, there's no data on this, but the idea is pretty simplistic. It's based on, mixing breathing and mindfulness with, blinking. So when I have my eldest niece and she's really overwhelmed, I'll have her either picture something and just close her eyes and try to breathe in and just try to picture details. So you focus the mind in on one image. The idea is based around us being overloaded with lots and lots and lots of images. So if you're doing something, and of course I'll look goofy if I do it, but you can just blink and try to do it like once every 5 seconds. And even that with breathing.
Wait, I want a demonstration.
You want a demonstration? So if I were doing this, I might try to do one
I gotta see
every second, right? So I would just, as I was talking, I would just blink and mix in with the breath. So as I do this, it's really interesting. If you try to match it, even that actually settled me down a little.
This is a good coping strategy. Let's practice this. I want to learn.
So that has helped me tremendously. And so what I do is, as I'm breathing in, I'll count. So I try to get 4 or 5, but I blink each time. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can leave your eyes closed if you like, and then out, and double the time as you're breathing out. And what I do is, even if I'm, say, working with a student for a musical instrument, so if they're doing violin, if they are playing a piece, if they blink with the rhythm, they play better. It's astonishing. So
is there anything for people that wear mascara and blinking is harder because
if it's difficult, that would be where you'd want to close your eyes so you can picture something and you just look at it, and it's the same thing. You're mixing kind of mindfulness, breathing, and the idea of holding on to an image. There's not really much there, but I do know the breathing is extremely helpful. And for some reason, and this is something I would tell anyone if they're dealing with anxiety, one thing that has helped me, and this is again mindfulness, but is trying to really enjoy everything you're doing. So instead of waking up feeling, I have to get up, I have to do this, I have to do this, it's I
hate the have-tos.
It's so difficult and they haunt me constantly. So now what I do is I wake up and it's brush my teeth. I get to. So you try to enjoy the feel of the brush. You try to enjoy walking. They've been doing this for thousands of years. It's pretty much mindfulness meditation, but it has helped tremendously just with the little things. And I have been struggling so much with my OCD and my anxiety, especially after I got COVID, and it just upped everything. I was down on my medication. I've not raised my medication, but it feels like I'm on nothing. And so my anxiety has been through the roof. It was really instant. Pretty much about a week after I was kind of somewhat conscious again. And that's the reason I bring that up is there's a lot of physical things that can affect our anxiety. What we can do is learn about how we, again, perceive time. It's really helpful if you kind of start analyzing how you think about your day and think about how much time you have for each activity. And instead of thinking about how much time you have, again, how much time you get to enjoy. It's that positive spin on it that does help. But once you understand that, then you can break into other habits. And that's where when you really know yourself, and then go see a therapist for cognitive behavioral therapy. Of course, we know working out and healthy diet, those things help, but they can give you tips for organizing. You mentioned it before, having your, ordering out your day, writing a schedule, journaling. There's all these wonderful tools that therapists and psychiatrists will be able to guide you forward further. And so there's a lot of work that we can do on our own, but it's not, I would never advise anybody to do all of their work on their own. It's just, you need other people in your team and in your tribe to help you. So, never feel badly about reaching out, but when it comes to time, there's, and again, the sense of anxiety, we put pressure on ourselves for finances. We, like you mentioned earlier, okay, like 40 years in the future, I actually worry about everything. I wake up worried. I go through my day worried. The anxiety it hangs. And it's not fun to live life like that. And I know that I am not alone by any stretch. The numbers for anxiety and how many people struggle with it are astronomical. So we need better tools.
The opposite. The fear of abandonment, fear of, my parents died young. So I have kind of the opposite fear, because half of my life I'm thinking, oh, well,
you're extra.
Lifeline isn't that long. So every day that I do something, I want to remedy it if I don't like the way I acted or behaved or anything like that, or making sure I don't go to bed. My kids don't go to bed angry, or vice versa.
I love that.
And do the best to have peace. So when at the end of the day, when you put your head on your pillow, you're okay with the choices that you made that day, right?
That is actually really vital. It is, if you go to bed and your brain hasn't wrapped up the day, for me, I wake up and it's more tangled. And it's, the day starts off harder. So I really like that. And that actually does lower my anxiety, just even being able to go to bed and kind of clear my plate. So that's a phenomenal suggestion.
Weird story that kind of has whatever. So found my mom when I was 18. She had a brain aneurysm. And the doctor made some stupid mistake by saying, oh, aneurysms are hereditary. Told my brother and I, right? We were young.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we're like, he's like, well, I might skip a generation. I don't know. So I'll shamefully admit I didn't really take care of my credit or start saving for retirement, all this stuff, because I'm like, hey, why? And then yada, yada, something happened with the car accident. And then the doctor sends me for an MRA because of my history.
Yeah.
It's like, no aneurysms, you're fine. I'm like, crap. My credits.
What happened?
I'm like, I got to get my credit score in check and my debt away and start focusing on the opposite, because I'm not going out anytime soon unless it's, well, at least not that way according to my. So I don't know. I guess it was put in my head when I was young. It didn't take that long for me to, come to terms with the fact that they were wrong.
Yeah. Did that alleviate
one day when I outlive my mom, though? It's gonna be weird.
Just out of curiosity, like when you felt like you had less time, did you feel less anxiety? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know.
It's hard to reevaluate.
No, I mean, because I was so young.
Yeah.
That I was putting myself through school, and I don't know. I kind of had I don't know how to say it without the confident, but effort attitude, because I didn't know, like I felt like everything was taken from me, which it was, like just be an adult. I don't know. So I don't remember feeling anxious. I felt driven. I'm just an overachiever anyway.
Yeah.
Just by nature. If I get involved with anything, I want to
excel.
It could be something stupid too, but gotta be on top somehow. I don't know, but and some of you guys listening know what I'm talking about.
And perfectionism actually is a really important. That's another thing too. When you're really driven and you're.
That's another thing from losing people, that you want perfectionism, you want control and order. to alleviate the anxiety because you have control of a situation. But in reality, the only thing we can control is ourselves and how we react to situations. So we can control our anxiety. We can control our reaction to whatever's coming our way. But
absolutely. And we
we have
cannot
to be aware to
control.
know that we have to
Yes.
control it. We have to put ourselves in check all the
That
time.
was so well stated and so vital, because we can't control. The illusion of being able to control everything actually causes more anxiety, because you feel like, when you can't grasp or control it, it's just, a lot of times people feel like it's another failure, or they feel more pressure to work harder the next day. And there are just some things you cannot control. But I loved what you said. We can control how we respond. So when we get hit with something, or we are overwhelmed with anxiety, we can learn how to take a deep breath, separate ourselves, find a place, slow things down. Those are
Seriously,
not
a lot
easy
of
to learn,
people
but
do the wrong thing. They are stressed at work. Let's say you're having a huge day at work, everything's compounding. A lot of people, and I'm not judging or anything, but let's just use this as an example, will go outside and take a smoke break. Then they're like, okay, I need a break. And they go out there and they feel kind of better for a second, and then they come back in. What they're not doing by accident, what they are doing the right way, is removing themselves for 5 to 10 minutes from a toxic situation. However, breathing in the carbon monoxide and everything is not physically helping. Instead of doing the breathing techniques and breathing in your nose, out your mouth, because after the smoke break, you go back in with heightened blood pressure, heightened anxiety, and everything, and the situation's still there. However, you removed yourself from it, so you calm down for a second, but then you go back in physically a little bit more heightened. Whereas if you did some sort of meditation or breathing exercises or whatever your style is, listen to a song in your car, chill for a minute, breathe in through your nose, oxygen goes straight to your brain, out your mouth, get rid of all that junk, breathe straight in your nose again and hold so that it absorbs in your brain as well. Then you go back to the toxic situation without the heart palpitations and the jitters and the I want to kill somebody attitude.
you know,
You know what I mean?
yes, absolutely. And actually, tobacco has been shown to raise your critical flicker fusion frequency. So actually smoking a cigarette, by my hypotheses, will actually raise your anxiety over the long term, which is really interesting. And again, you can get in all the medications. Benzodiazepines lower your CFFF. And there's alcohol, which distorts it.
What is CFFF? Please
So the
enlighten us.
critical flicker fusion frequency.
Oh,
So it
okay,
actually,
that's the acronym for the tongue twister that you.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that the CFF.
Still don't.
Right.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
The critical
Flicker
fusion
frequency. Yeah. So that one is,
which, by the way, still doesn't make sense to me.
no, it's
Critical
okay.
fusion frequency. Whatever.
It's definitely a tongue twister. A lot of times you can just look
No,
at
but
the
I mean, what does it mean?
So it's how many images per second we process.
Oh yeah,
So
you were
if
saying
you
that
think
before.
of a more, my hypothesis is, and this is something that Jeffrey and I spoke about, so it's kind of our combined hypotheses, but people on the spectrum are processing way more information. And same thing with a lot of the other mental health.
They're more observant. And
yes. So, and
that's
kind of
why they
connected
always
to,
say be more cautious about the quiet ones. The quiet ones are the ones you have to watch out for.
yes.
Everyone's all worried about the loud ones, but they're not observing everything going on. Some of the quiet ones just sitting there.
Well, and with ADHD,
we can notice everything.
That's another one with ADHD. They also, the medication that they utilize for that, amphetamines, also raise the critical flicker fusion frequency. So there's all this information on the medications, and we're utilizing. I think the key part is why do all these things affect our ability to sense time? They're using Psychedelics for PTSD, those distort time. They're using marijuana in some things.
Ketamine for depression, all sorts of things.
So there's all these interesting, I would guess, for me, I'd love to see them research what part of the brain is being active when they're seeing a change in the CFFF, so that we can develop medications. That's my long-term hope. And at least that we get some better tools, because the anxiety, a lot of the options we have, antidepressants, throwing neurotransmitters at your brain, are not necessarily, they are effective. So talk with your doctor or your psychologist or psychiatrist.
Exactly.
But
we need to go through coping skills, but Ed's looking us to take a break. So with the ADHD, I can multitask. I mean, all these things. I sit in a restaurant. I know what everyone's talking about around me. I can do 3 things at once. Little do you know, I'm actually writing this book. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, multitasking is something that people with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder do, but not everyone. No one multitasks well, to be honest.
I definitely don't.
Well, I don't think anyone does. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany in just 1 minute. Please stay tuned.
We will return to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner after these messages.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
If you are like most people, you worry with the financial challenges you face today. How do you protect your family from financial ruin? How will you reduce your liabilities and get out of debt sooner? And how can you deal effectively with the constant changes in your job, your career, and your business? Overcoming your financial challenges is like building a house. You must build from the ground up. You must learn how to make more money, save more money, grow your money, and protect your money. Forever Forward Financial specializes in teaching you these 4 basic money skills so you can achieve your dreams and end your worry. Call us today and schedule your complimentary, no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns. Call Scott Bigley at 727-422-7761.
Hi, this is your host, Tiffany Warner from Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I want to thank you for all your support on ending the stigma on mental health for over the past 7 years and with over 600 episodes, as well as several award nominations and placing as a finalist in 3 categories on the People's Choice Podcast Award last year. If you're listening to this on audio, please visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and enjoy viewing previous shows in case you missed any live. If you're interested in advertising and would like to promote your company, it is affordable and an effective way to get your company the attention it deserves. I also welcome potential guests as well, and all information can be found on my website at mocwithtiffany.com. Thank you again for your continued support, as change can only come when we stand together as one.
Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
And welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name's Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And we're talking about anxiety and how time management or their lack of can lead to so many more things, heightened anxiety and depression and other things, with my guest, Kirk Patrick Miller, who wrote a wonderful blog and speaking about all these things and the side effects that these things have. I know I want to get to this comment as well, but I want to forewarn you, Kirk, we've got like 6 minutes.
Oh,
so
wow. That went by fast.
It went by fast, and I'm going to tell you that so I don't have to cut you off and sound rude, okay?
Awesome.
So which comment were you like?
There's one Judy said in here. She said at times the more she detaches from herself, the more the stress kind of explodes. I would love to know what she means by detaching. For me, I wouldn't use the word detach from yourself. It's more grounding. So it's an inward. If you're going to be mindful, you want to feel yourself and enjoy standing, enjoy walking, enjoy breathing, and just being alive. So I would never want someone, if they're trying to
I'm
help
not
their
saying that.
anxiety. Yeah, I don't want them to detach. It's more
I'm
of
not saying
grounding.
the chat. This one?
Yeah. Let's see, that gets you more. It says, no, one down. It's let's see. It's the makes sense what you were saying, but at times the more I detach from myself, it seems. Yeah, that's the one. And so for me, I would never say I don't, when I do the meditation, I don't detach. I focus on kind of grounding and trying to like let go of all of the things that honestly I panic about, the most ridiculous things, and all day long. I mean,
we got like 5 minutes.
So as far as that goes, I wanted to address that one because of course it's going to be different for each person. And that's why you want to find.
That's why there's so many different treatment modalities.
Yes.
And not everything works for everyone. But with Judy from Facebook, thank you so much. That's one thing that somebody else can relate to. A lot of people relate to each other. Not everyone does. We all see the world through different eyes.
Absolutely. Well, and that perception, and that was the main thing, is just analyze how you do it. Everybody's going to see things differently. The more you know about yourself, it's just easier to tackle new challenges, and they're never problems. Don't look at anything from a negative viewpoint. It just never helps. There's always solutions. Some take more patience than others, and they all take effort, but they're all worth it. So, I can leave it there for today. So I know you might have some suggestions maybe for anybody as you close out the show, for people to just, that you suggest for people to just calm down and relax. Like you said, stepping away. Do you have any other tips?
We've gone through a lot of them.
Breathing.
Watch. There's several shows, even just on any of the platforms for podcasts, like titled Anxiety. Like we've done quite a few of them, even Beyond Clarity, that's on Facebook as well, that we've talked about different coping skills. We've had over 600 and something episodes. At least I know we hit the 600th episode on New Year's Eve, and
I was definitely panicked then. That was an interesting day. So
that's another show. Oh my gosh, I had to tell you to chill, but rightfully so. Your house you were just evacuated because of a fire that was just about to burn down your house, and you got shoved out of the house. And he comes onto the show like with his eyes like
super big. Okay. Hello. Yeah.
Like you just thought I'm dilated by the optometrist or whatever. I can't talk today. Anyway, so breathe, take time to yourself, self-care. If you find the time when someone says, have you been able to take time for yourself, and everything else has come first, where you have not taken time to do something you want to do, go for a walk in the park, get a manicure, pedicure, get a haircut, whatever. If you don't have enough time to take 30 minutes for yourself, even in a week or whatever, then it's time to reevaluate what's going on in your life and put yourself in that list of priorities. And it's okay to say no. A lot of times people ask Kirk to do stuff. Hey, can you do this? You would be a guest on the show. It's okay to say, I really don't have the time right now, and I don't want to overcommit myself. Maybe later when I have less on my plate. It's not rude to say no. You don't have to say yes to everyone. Don't be a people pleaser. You can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. Said by Kenny Rogers, right?
Absolutely.
It was him, right?
You need the bell for yourself. That was beautifully stated. So,
and on that, we'll just leave the note, and Ed can close with that song if he wants. No, thank you so much, Kirk Patrick Miller, for being on the show. Of course,
thank you always.
Great friend, and part of my family as well. Known him so long. This is why we get along. The show flows like
Absolutely.
gravy.
Always. So.
We don't even have to prepare. Just, hey, yo. You free? Like in 20 minutes? No, like.
It makes it more fun. So I'm an impulsive person. I'm not good at being impulsive. That's a totally different thing.
No. Actually, that was something you've been improved.
Yes.
You weren't 8 years ago.
No, I was.
And he had to finish every text with 3 emojis. That's how
I've improved. Just a single dot now. I still have the 3 every once in a while, but so.
I don't know. On purpose, I think you don't.
I'm really working at it. So it is still slightly painful, and
it was painful for him. It was a real thing for him, and sometimes
and you help me get through it.
And our things are our things, and it might sound silly to someone else, but it's our things. We'll get into that in another show. Thank you guys so much for listening and for tuning in. We're on every Friday, 12 to 1, Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. Please subscribe and give this show a like on any platform that you're looking at, and leave a review on anything as well. Thank you so much, Ed. Thank you, everyone. All friends, have a happy weekend. And please take care of yourself and a stranger, because you never know what they're going through. And thank you so much. Yeah.
Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear